Senator Rosen, please.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate this hearing. And really appreciate the work and service that both of you are doing and the vast knowledge you have. And I am so grateful for the logistics planning that has gone on for so many years, that has allowed us to protect men and women in our military and, of course, all of us. So thank you for all those spreadsheets and logistics that nobody ever thinks, like I said, are very sexy, but the most important thing. But I want to talk about small arms range for Nevada, for training in Nevada. So Secretary Wormuth, Nevada does not have an approved small arms qualification range. In order for soldiers to annually qualify in an approved range, Nevada's units must transport soldiers somewhere between 200 and 600 miles out of state to meet this requirement. The average cost for a unit to attend the out-of-state weapons qualification is $500,000, $500,000 a year per unit. Some units mitigate this by sacrificing training days in order to travel, using vehicles assigned to the unit. It takes an additional 2 to 3 days of travel time, which is not often an option. So the National Guard Bureau has justified the requirement for one multi-purpose range complex for Nevada, and the Nevada Army National Guard has acquired, a 25-year lease at Hawthorne Army Depot, which is already in the center of our state. However, the current timeline for MILCON funding to be approved is 2030 at its earliest. So given that financial cost to transport soldiers out of state far exceeds the cost of building a range, can I have your commitment to incorporate a small arms range at Hawthorne Army Depot into future years' defense planning or unfunded priority lists so that our soldiers can meet their annual requirements at greater convenience and actually at a cost savings to the taxpayer?
Senator Rosen, I will absolutely look into that, and again, work with, it sounds like, General Jensen, the director of the Army Guard, and General Daly to see if there's something that we can do there.
Yeah, the cost savings, I think you get better training, save money, makes sense. And on that same note, the reserve components and their new Army fitness tests. So General McConville, our reserve components, they face their own challenges as citizen soldiers without access to day-to-day services available to our active duty troops on military installations. So one such challenge will be the transition to the Army Combat Fitness Test, ACFT. So while active duty soldiers will have ACFT equipment at their everyday place of work, reserve component soldiers will not, no matter how much equipment is fielded to their units. These soldiers are not at their units 28 days out of the month to train on the equipment they're going to be tested on, and many just don't live nearby. So this is going to require reserve component soldiers to pay for specialized gym equipment in order to train, whereas every soldier, active duty soldier, can train for Army physical fitness tests from their own home. So General McConville, how do you plan to address this disparity as you implement ACFT?
Well, first of all, we'll put a lot of equipment, probably the biggest buy of ACFT equipment, but we've also put out ways to train if you don't have access to the equipment. So we have exercises. If you think about a plank, one of the exercises, you don't need equipment to do that. The hand release push-ups, you don't need any type of equipment to do that. The ball throw, if you don't have a ball, we can get something that looks like that, and you can take some weights and just use some of the things that you have, a water can to replicate that. So most of the things we can replicate without the equipment, and we have exercises that they can do to give them the opportunity. But we won't be able to put a full set of equipment in every home, but every organization within limits should have that. And going back to the I was not aware of that, arms requirement. We'll take that on,
thank you.
Okay, for that marksmanship. Our soldiers need to be able to shoot. We shouldn't have to go all over the state to do that. I just was not aware of that one. I'll take that one on personally.
Yeah, Hawthorne Army Depot, it's easy to get
it seems
from
like
northern, southern Nevada.
It seems like this should be really easy. Senator, but we owe it, like the Senator said, let's take a look at it. And it's the first I've heard of it, and I've been in the Army for 41 years. But we will take a look at that, and we'll get on it.
I appreciate it. And I see my time's just about up, so for the I'll submit a question for the record about our Russian threat assessment and how you think we're going to have to adjust now based on what we've learned over the last few months going on in Ukraine, how we need to surge up, where we need to resupply, and logistics, again, how they might have to change considering the threats we have now and like I said, what we've learned in Ukraine. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator.